So we have both sides here. So we want to now identify what's going to be the outside of both of them, and then how they're going to be laid out. Meaning that eventually our legs are going to have a shape like this. So there's a portion of this piece here that gets eliminated. So if you have a part to the project where there's a knot that's real loose, or there's something that's not desirable in there, then we make sure that that goes in the area here that's going to be gone. Okay? So let's lay out how we want these to look. That was already labeled as out. I can get rid of this back here because from the back part of the stool up to the top, there's an angle of 82 degrees. That means that'll be gone. So I want to mark on here, this is up and this is forward. Right? So that's the back. Now for this one, this side's out. I can get rid of that. So I'm going to go up and forward because that's going to get cut out for the step here. Right? All right. So let's see if that works though. So I need a right and a left side leg, right? So here's out. Here's the spot that's going to be gone. Here's the other out, and here's the spot that's going to be gone. So that's going to work, and I'll have these both be the insides. Right? All right. So now I want to get these pieces put together so that I can work with them as one, because I want them to be identical. If I go ahead and just cut everything out like on the bandsaw, it's going to come out cartoonish. We're trying to eliminate any human error, right? Everything we do, we try to have little techniques. If you're a professional at whatever you do, you're trying to eliminate human error and do things as accurately as possible. So by putting them two together and having them cut out at the same time, what we're guaranteeing is that they're identical pieces. So here's how they're going to go together. I'm going to put them in a vise. And I'm going to get them lined up in this vise so that they are in line with one another perfectly. Okay, so now they're lined up. This is the back, this is the front here, that's the part that gets eliminated. I am going to, actually before I go ahead and screw these together, I'm going to go ahead and draw out on this face here the shape of my step. So that was a little premature putting it in the vise there, I apologize. If we look at our plans, and I expect you to have the plans out and working with them as you're going along here. If we look at the plans, from the bottom to the bottom of the first step is 9 inches. Our step, the tread, is 6 3/4, but has a 1/2 inch overhang off the front there. Let me grab one and show you that. So our step here has a 1/2 inch overhang. This is 6 3/4. There's a 1/2 inch overhang. So 6 3/4 minus that 1/2 inch overhang is 6 1/4. So I'm going to come up 9 inches. I'm putting my framing square up against the bottom, so it's tight and against the edge. And I'm going to mark 9 inches. Then I'm going to put my framing square so it's aligned with the front edge, and I'll come back at a 90-degree angle across, and I'll mark it at 6 1/4. That's 6 1/4 right there at the intersection. Same square, hook it to the top, and bring that line straight up. Okay? Now the top of this, if we look over this stool here, the top is the same as this, where we had 6 1/4 with a 1/2 inch overhang. This is a 6 3/4 step also with a 1/2 inch overhang. So from here to here has to again be 6 1/4. So I'll bring this to my mark here. I'll mark 6 1/4 at the top there. And then I'm going to use the same square, my framing square, to bring that corner down here. So that's the shape that we have here, right? So I want to put a screw here, a screw here, a screw here, and I'm going to put 2 screws down here where that arc is, okay? So how do we figure out what that arc is? How do we draw that arc? Well, in our plans, when we look at them, we see it says R 7 1/4. The R stands for the radius, 7 1/4 radius, okay? And they also say that from the base to here is 1 7/16. The height of the arc is centered on the leg. So 14 1/2 wide, I want to mark my center line. 14 1/2, so I'm going to go to 7 1/4. I'm going to use my square. I'm going to draw that line up. Now I'm going to mark 1 7/16 up on that line. Right? So my curve is going to be something like this, right? But I'm 7 1/4 radius here. So I have to have this line extend down further. I am going to, on here at 9 inches, I'll draw a line again. But this time, I'm going to use that line as my extension. So I'm going to line that up with that line there. And I'm going to take a compass at 7 1/4, put it on this line, and then use that to curve around here. So this line lines up with that. They're both square from the edges there. They line up, and now we need a compass. So right now it's set for 2 7/16. I want 7 1/4. So I'll set it to 0 and to 7 1/4, and that's my radius. And then I'll lock that in. My pencil goes on that line that I marked at 1 7/16. And my compass point goes anywhere on that line as long as my pencil's at 1 7/16. Then I'll draw that arc. So now we have drawn there what has to come out. And now we have a more clear area of where our screw is going to go to connect these 2 pieces. Okay? This is as much as we needed done there. Now it's going to be this piece and this piece go together. Right? So we have a piece coming out here and coming out here so that they're lined up how we want them to be. Now we'll go back into that vise, line them up, clamp it, pieces look good, and let me turn it towards you so you can see it better. Okay? And we have some drills here. We are going to put screws in these areas that I have marked off with the crosshairs. The screws are going to be, well, think about this. These 2 pieces